from gathering data about us and learning from it and using it to make money. And Amazon and indeed Microsoft and Apple, while they are not primarily data science companies, like the other four, data science is the core business. With these three, data science is a major contributor to their bottom line. It's a significant part of the business. So what is it that data science does, which enables these companies to accumulate such massive wealth so rapidly? Well, this gives an illustration of how decisions are traditionally made in a corporate environment. If there's a decision to be made, a group of people gather around, discuss through the options, and then a decision is made. How is that decision ultimately made? It's made by the hippo. What's the hippo? Well, if you think what happens in a meeting, it ultimately goes to the most senior person present. That most senior person is usually the highest paid person, and ultimately it's their opinion, that the highest paid person's opinion, or hippo, makes the decision. And so ultimately it rests on his or her intuition. And often that intuition is good, but it's not always perfect. So the notion of the hippo was actually developed at Amazon. And Amazon transformed many of their decision-making processes to be something much more akin to this. What happens is the relevant data is gathered, and then a rational decision is made about what is going to have the best business outcome. So for example, every week at Amazon there used to be a meeting, like the meeting I showed, where they'd all sit around and decide what is the theme on the site, what's the main page going to look like this week. So for example, Thanksgiving was coming up, they might discuss, should we have a turkey theme? Or Christmas coming up, should we have a Santa Claus theme? And they discuss it through, and then the highest paid person make a decision. What Amazon does now is any time, not just once a week, any time somebody has an idea about how you might improve the website, they do an online scientific experiment. The new idea, it seems credible, is put into play live to a small random selection of people visiting the website. And they see what works best. And in fact, every time you go to the website of any of these major internet companies, you are almost certainly participating in some hundreds of such experiments that end up lots of these in parallel. They're constantly tuning things so as to optimize the outcomes. But it's not just business decisions, such as what the website should look like or what ads to display. Machine learning underlies advanced technologies such as self-driving cars, the ability to talk to devices such as your mobile phones or other systems in your house or elsewhere. Machine learning, one of the key technologies of data science, underlies much of modern advanced technology. Well, how does it work? Let me give you a very simple illustration of how a machine learning system operates using one of the very classic systems, decision trees. I'm going to illustrate it in the context of that terrible tragedy, the sinking of the Titanic. Who here has seen the movie Titanic? because I've got a spoiler alert for you. If you are thinking of watching the movie and don't want to know how it ends, then maybe you should step out for a minute or two. So, suppose we want to be able to take a passenger from the voyage and predict whether they will have survived or not. We have the ship's manifest. We know everybody who was on board, and we know a lot of information about them, including whether they survived. The main things we know are their gender, age, the fare they paid, and what class they were travelling in. I suppose we now want to learn how to predict whether they would have survived or not. Well, if we just group everybody together, then we know an average person had a 40% chance of survival. Can we make a better prediction than just saying, well, you have a 40% chance of surviving? Well, the way decision trees work is you look at all of the factors you have in your data for describing the people on board. And you see, if I divide data up using that factor, so if I look at the males and females, or if I look at the older people and the younger people, if I look at the people travelling in first and second class and the people travelling in third class or on the crew, which one best divides those on board into those that survived and those that perished? It turns out that if you trial for the one that works best is gender. 75% females on board survived, 20% of the males. And then we can repeat this process. So of all the females on board, which of the remaining three factors best divides them into survivors and non-survivors? It turns out to be class of travel. So if you were in first or second class, you had a 95% chance of survival. I'm not sure what this thing obscuring the display is, sorry. And if you're in third class or a member of the crew, and a female, then you had slightly less than 50% chance of survival. So a woman in first class is pretty certain to survive. What about for the males? Well, we can again look what best divides males into survivors and non-survivors. And it turns out the factor that best predicts for males is age. So boys had a 2/3 chance of surviving. Adult males had an 18% chance. Not very good. So let's look at those two famous characters from the film Titanic. The one played by Kate Winslet and the one played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Kate's character was, of course, female. Leonardo's male. Kate's character was travelling in first class. Leonardo, while he barely looks like it, is an adult. And so we can see that the result of the movie was really a foregone conclusion. And with a few minutes of machine learning, you could have saved yourself the trouble of watching the movie. So I hope that gives you a feeling for what underlies machine learning. So that's the basic sort of idea. That's a very simple technique. There are much more sophisticated and complicated techniques. But that's what's at the heart. You're looking at how to divide the data up in some way, separate the different types of outcomes that you're interested in. So, should you be interested in a career in data science? If we look at LinkedIn's emerging jobs report, this is from the US. Unfortunately, I don't have the figures for Australia, but it's very similar. You can see that the fastest growing job is machine learning engineer. So machine learning is a specialised part of data science. So the fastest growing job is a specialised data scientist, and then the second fastest growing job is data scientist. And demand way outstrips supply. People are getting obscene salaries. I'll take questions as I finish. So why come to Monash to study data science? Well, we have a large and diverse and very strong group of data science academics here. Our data science group has 60 staff in it. So the largest, we believe, in the Southern Hemisphere, and extremely strong. Can't go through all 60 people, but just to give you a little feeler for the types of things we do. I'm a technical advisor to two international tech startups. So one of them is BigML. BigML is creating a cloud-based data science platform. People can upload their data and do analytics extremely simply, or alternatively host the machine locally and work on their own machines, host software locally. I'm also a technical advisor for a company called Frugal. So Frugal develops recommender systems. So it does things like controls recommended news stories on a Belgian newspaper's website. It recommends clothing on a clothing manufacturer's website. It recommends movies for one of the cable TV channels in Europe. Our Professor Din Fun is the scientific director for a company called Trusting Social, which is transforming the way credit scoring is done. Traditionally, credit scoring relies on people having a history of repaying loans. And if you're a poor person, you can't get, for example, a credit card, and you've got no way of establishing a history of repaying loans. And Trusting Social is developing ways of giving credit scores to people in such situations. And our staff are widely involved on government advisory boards. They develop software which is widely used. They're involved in both commercial and scientific research in many disciplines, as well as creating new technologies that are widely deployed. So, what are the options if you're interested in studying data science? The key undergraduate option is to undertake the Bachelor of Computer Science with a specialisation in data science. So specialisation is similar to what is called in many places a major. So you can do a Bachelor of Computer Science specialising in data science. Alternatively, in almost any bachelor's degree in the university, you can take a minor study in data science. So you can select a few of the key data science units. Hidden under this mysterious thing here is the Masters of Data Science and the Graduate Diploma of Data Science. So if you've got a first degree, you can do a postgraduate qualification, and we also do some short courses. So, don't just be one of those people whose job is made redundant by the new technologies that are changing the way the world works. Join us and be one of the people who is changing the way the world operates. Join us, shaping the 21st century. Questions? Yes.
With the way data science check the data, is there any ethical concerns involved?
Thank you. So the question was, are there any ethical concerns in the way data scientists collect data? And the answer is a resounding yes. We have a lot of reason to be concerned about the way many organisations are collecting data on us. And one of the things that data scientists can study is how best to protect people's interests in this exchange. It's currently the way in which data science is performed. It's extremely one-sided. We've chosen Facebook as the example. Facebook knows an extraordinary amount about most of the people in this room. And we know very little about what it does with that information. It's a very asymmetric relationship.
It will evolve and then consumers will get sold their own data.
The question was, will the situation evolve and will we move to a situation where users, well, the question was, users sell their data, more generally users control their data. And if you control it, then you might sell it, you might exchange it for other benefits. But certainly there are moves afoot to improve the controls that users have, but I'm very concerned about whether we will ever get ahead of the curve. So certainly you may be able to put controls on a company like Facebook, so a major corporation. Russian hackers trying to influence elections aren't going to pay very much attention to any laws we might put in place. So the way in which you control those, maybe we can find technical solutions. I don't think legislation is a person.
If you need data science as a minor, in your science degree or degree, can you then go on and do your graduate diploma or a master's, or is that ongoing study only for those who do it as a major in IT?
So the question is, if you do a minor in data science, can you go on to do a postgraduate degree in data science? I'm a little bit hesitant because I don't know all the ins and outs of the conditions on the degrees, but I'm quite confident that the answer is yes. So you get advanced credit for, you might get advanced credit for some parts of the postgraduate degree. I'm confident you'll be able to do the more advanced stuff. But I would take that to the course advice people outside. Up here.
What's the difference between data science and data analysis?
What's the difference between data science and data analysis? Data analytics. They're different names for essentially the same thing. That's the answer I've been inclined to give. So people might draw fine distinctions, but data science tends to be more on the technology end, so it tends to be more people who on top of the underlying technologies and able to do the advanced work, whereas data analytics tends to be more at the business end and people who are using the tools without the capacity to do the more advanced operations. That's not necessary.
So if they're actually doing data analytics, so are they doing similar units as data science?
Doing data analytics in what degree program?
Probably I guess
In the so I'm not familiar with the fine details of what's in the Bachelor of Commerce program, but you will be able to do some of the more technical units here. I'm not sure how much equivalence there is between the technical details. And perhaps the course advisors can give you some more. Are there any more questions? Yes.
Would the data science be automated in the future?
Will data science be automated in the future? The answer is yes and no. Right, so 90% of the things that I did as a data scientist 10 years ago are automated, but the most interesting parts aren't. And that's just going to continue happening. So, never predict the future with certainty, but I will be extraordinarily surprised if data scientists stop being of that. The tasks that are being done are going to evolve, I'm certain of that. But in parts of what attributes? Okay, so the question is, what attributes are people most looking for in a data scientist? And the answer is that there's a very wide spread of skill sets that you need. So one of the things about data science is that it underlies advanced technologies in almost any area that you look at. And that's one of the reasons why taking data science as a double degree is a very powerful thing to do. Because what employers are often looking for are people who know about biology, biotech, or know about commerce, or know about retail, and know about science. So they want people who are technical people, and they also want people with good interpersonal skills. They want people who understand the underlying business. So analytical skills, good to have. Interpersonal skills are always good to have. Math is good, but it's not absolutely essential. Yeah. So I think if you want to specialise in the AI data science area, then the data science specialisation is probably the wisest specialisation.
It's already looking into the post-math of units. Started calling this actually the rest of them. I'm not so sure the similarity and difference between them.
So I think for detailed course advice, you're best off talking to the course advisors and talking unit by unit about which things actually best suit. In general, if you're interested in AI, data science type path and data science specialisation, should be the Any more questions?
So why data science is part of IT, not part of science or part of engineering?
So the question is, why is data science part of computer science, not part of engineering or commerce would be another possibility, or science? So one of the important things about data science is that it's actually multidisciplinary. It relies on statistics, but it also fundamentally relies on advanced data manipulation, which is inherently computational. So the greatest challenges in data science aren't the statistics. The greatest challenges are how do you do the computations that are required in order to get the outputs that you want. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.